Now, the only thing worse than losing last night's match, the last match of the Ashes, is, well, I'll let Slim Dusty explain.
But there's nothing so lonesome, morbid or drear, than to stand in the bar of a pub with no beer.
Well, it may well become a reality because, of course, it's the 1st of August today, which means once again they are jacking up the price of a beer and the price of wine and the price of spirits. This time it's 2.2%. But you see, what happens with the alcohol excise is that every 6 months it automatically gets jacked up somewhere in line with CPI. Now, that means that when they jacked it up back in February, it went up 3.7%. And when they jacked it up this time last year, it went up 4.1%, which means the price of your beer or your glass of wine or your gin and tonic has gone up by about 10% since this time last year. What a joke. I mean, we know in this cost of living crisis all the awful things that are being put upon us by this federal government. Every now and again you need a beer to get through it, but the federal government says, no, 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 we have an opportunity here to make lots of money out of you. Now, there's only a handful of taxes where this happens. The alcohol excise and the tobacco excise. They don't go around jacking up your GST, they don't go around jacking up your income tax, do they? But they picked two things that they know a lot of people are quite fond of and gone, well, bugger it. We can just tax the hell out of this in perpetuity. Now, John Preston from the Brewers Association pointed out today that they are just hurting beer drinkers, he says, and our pubs and clubs. It was difficult to get people back in the doors after COVID, and now it is so expensive to buy around. And I don't know if you've been to Dan Murphy's or wherever recently. You try and buy a bottle of gin, you can barely find one for under $50. You go over to the US, same thing's about $30. We are being ripped off by the government here, and indeed Laurel Warren from Bellarine Distillery told us last week, she was talking to the Bolt Report about exactly this, what this means to her and lots of other businesses in Australia just trying to get by.
Everything's wrong with it, really. We now rank as the third highest excised country in the world. The only ones ahead of us are Norway and Iceland. And if you think about it, they live 6 months of the year in dark, so there's probably a good reason why they're trying to limit the amount of alcohol consumption. We certainly can't levy the same argument here in Australia.
Now, according to the people who make it, about 60% of the cost of a bottle of Bundaberg rum now is tax. You're giving it straight to the government. You're not paying for the product. About $20 out of your slab of beer now is tax. I mean, this government, they keep hitting us hard every day of the week. Power prices up. You go, oh, God, you open your bill and you go, oh, my God, I need a beer to calm down. Oh, we got a tax for that too. I mean, come on. Can't they give us a break at some point?
The power, the passion, Caleb.
I don't think I've ever seen you.
I've ever seen you worked up this badly about anything, not even energy prices.
Well,
this one's clearly hitting
you need a drink after that.
Oh, I need a drink most of the time. I mean, you know how much I love a beer or a glass of red, but I just find it objectionable that the government goes, OK, there's something here that for a lot of people is a little bit of pleasure they get out of life and helps them get by, but we deem, well, it's very bad for you, so we're just going to keep jacking up the tax in perpetuity forever.
Well, I mean, that's why they do it. You mentioned alcohol and tobacco, right? It's because the health officials are quite happy to see it taxed on this because those two things are harmful for you. But the problem here, Liz, of course, is, you know, in the Anthony Albanese economy, you can't even drown your sorrows anymore. It's too expensive even to do that.
It's pure revenue raising. As I've already pointed out, this is big government doing big government's thing. What is something that people don't like to live without, that we know that they will keep buying? Let's make a tax that just grows in perpetuity. We'll make an absolute bucket of it with every single passing year. It's completely unfair, but what are you going to do?
It's not just the Labor government, though. To be fair, this is a government policy that's, pursued by Coalition and Labor. But if Labor are the party of the working man, surely this is the one place where they'd make the exception.
For crying out loud.